Welcome back to Deciphering Zodiac, a chronicle of terror brought to you by History and Crime. In this 6th episode, titled The Call, we delve into the chilling aftermath of the Blue Rock Springs attack. Was marked by a haunting phone call that added a new dimension to the terror of the Zodiac killer. Disclaimer: the purpose of this podcast is to educate and entertain, not to glorify or sensationalize crime. Listener discretion is advised. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of myself, Tammy D, the creator. The information presented in this podcast is based on historical sources and research. As the creator of this podcast, I do not endorse or condone any of the actions or behaviours depicted in the true stories. The following content contains graphic descriptions of violence, murder, and other criminal activities. In the early hours of July 5th, 1969, just minutes after the Blue Rock Springs attack, the Vallejo Police Department received a phone call. The caller, a man with a low, monotonous voice that seemed devoid of emotion, claimed responsibility for the attacks on Darlene Ferrin and Michael McGough at Blue Rock Springs Park, as well as the murders of David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen on Lake Herman Road. This call was not just a confession, but a chilling reminder of the cold-blooded nature of the killer. But what did the caller say, and how did he sound? The caller spoke in a calm and matter-of-fact tone, as if he was reporting a mundane event. He did not show any signs of remorse, regret, or excitement. He had a slight accent, possibly from the Midwest or the South, but it was not very distinctive. He did not give his name or any other personal information. He simply stated the facts of his crimes, as if he was reading from a script. The exact words of the caller were, "I want to report a murder. No, a double murder. They are 2 miles north of Park headquarters. They were in a white Volkswagen." He then paused and added, "I'm the one who did it." He then hung up without waiting for a response. The call lasted less than a minute, but it left a lasting impression on the police and the public. The voice of the killer was a haunting and disturbing sound, a voice that conveyed no emotion, no empathy, a voice that belonged to a cold and ruthless killer. How did the police trace the call, and what did they find? The police traced the call to a phone booth located at a gas station on Springs Road in Vallejo, just a few blocks from the Vallejo Police Department and only about half a mile from Darlene Ferrin's home. The proximity of the phone booth to the police department and the victim's home added a chilling audacity to the killer's actions. Tracing the call was not an easy or quick process. The technology and resources available at the time were limited and unreliable. The police had to rely on the cooperation and assistance of the phone company, which was not always forthcoming or efficient. The phone company had to manually connect the call to a tracking device, which could take several minutes. The tracing device also had a margin of error, which could result in inaccurate or incomplete information. By the time the police arrived at the phone booth, the caller was long gone, leaving behind only the chilling echo of his words. The police searched the area but found no sign of the killer or his vehicle. They did find some fingerprints on the phone booth, but they were of poor quality and could not be positively identified or matched to any suspects. The police also interviewed the gas station attendant, but he did not recall seeing or hearing anything unusual that night. The phone booth was a dead end, a frustrating and disappointing outcome for the investigators. But what did the call reveal, and what did it mean? The call revealed several important and intriguing pieces of information, as well as raised several questions and speculations. Some of these were: the caller confirmed that he was the same killer who had murdered David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen on Lake Herman Road, linked the two attacks and established a pattern and a modus operandi. This indicated that the killer had a preference for attacking young couples in secluded locations, using a gun as his weapon of choice. The caller provided details of his crimes, such as the type and colour of the car he had attacked, and the location of the crime scene. This proved his authenticity and credibility and challenged the police to verify his claims and catch him. He also hinted at his knowledge and familiarity with the area, suggesting that he could have been a local resident or a frequent visitor. The caller did not provide any clear motive or reason for his crimes, leaving the police and the public to wonder what drove him to kill. He did not express any anger, hatred, or resentment towards his victims, nor did he show any remorse, regret, or satisfaction. He did not seem to have any personal connection or grudge against them, nor did he seem to have any ideological or religious agenda. He simply killed for the sake of killing, as if it was a casual and impersonal act. The caller did not give his name or any other personal information, leaving the police and the public to speculate on his identity and background. He did not reveal his age, race, occupation, education, or any other characteristics that could help identify him. He did not use any nicknames, aliases, or codes, unlike some other serial killers who like to create a persona or a signature. He remained anonymous and elusive, a faceless and nameless killer. These are just some of the pieces of information and questions that the call revealed and raised, but none of them were conclusive or definitive. The caller had provided some clues and hints, but he had also withheld or obscured others. He had given the police and the public a glimpse into his mind and his actions, but he had also left them in the dark and in doubt. He had created a mystery and a puzzle, and he had invited them to join his twisted game. That concludes episode 6 of our series. In our next episode, we will discuss the third confirmed attack of the Zodiac killer, including the bizarre costume the Zodiac reportedly wore, adding another layer to this complex and horrifying narrative. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey through the chronicle of the Zodiac killer. Until next time, stay safe, keep the lights on, and continue to join us as we navigate the dark corridors of history and crime. Remember, in the words of George Santayana, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it.